Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Max Bankman, I'm the new doctor.
Welcome aboard the Odyssey.
ABC Thursdays.
This ship is heaven. We're tending to our passengers' dreams. I'm in.
From 911 executive producer Ryan Murphy comes a splashy new drama on a luxury cruise ship with Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson.
It's your job to keep everyone alive.
She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse.
You're going to be okay.
Dr. Odyssey. Thursdays, 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello. It's your favorite gossip girlies here. Except we're not gossip girl. We're girlies who gossip.
That's true. Wasn't Gossip Girl a man anyway?
What?
Wasn't Gossip Girl a man anyway?
Oh, yeah, it was Dan, wasn't it?
I just heard it from the grapevine. I didn't actually watch the show.
I never think I ever got to that point. There's no way I ever got to that point. I could never get over the Chuck Bass of it all. I really tried. You know?
I don't, because I didn't watch the show.
Well, if you know, you know. You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it.
I know they did a lot of whispering.
Who whispered?
The men.
Yeah, that was like the acting style of like, are you
That's
a
what
hot
they
man? How quietly can you talk?
I did watch the showrunners talk about the show, and that was the direction they were given.
No, it was like, you know what? Men should be seen, not heard. And like, I kind of fucking agree. So welcome to another episode of But Am I Wrong? Starring two people who have not once ever in the history of their time on Earth, which has been both so quick and also eternal.
And some might say too long.
Some days I'm thinking, whew, I have been here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And other days I'm like, I actually just got here. I'm just a baby. I have no idea what I'm doing. Why are you talking to me like that? Anyways, it's okay, everyone. Life is a roller coaster.
Life comes at you fast.
There's a lot of loops, sometimes a lot of plain, a little flat. Sometimes it's a death drop.
Speaking, last week we talked about like things that came from Ferris Bueller. That life comes at you fast thing is from Ferris Bueller, but it's just part of lexicon now.
Everything is like everything origins Latin or Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Back to the Future. And I'm like, no way. Well, this is a wonderful podcast, and we should know that because we do make exclusively wonderful podcasts. And if you have listened to our other shows before, this is referred to like the podcast you listen to after. Don't blame me. So like you didn't take our advice and you did the thing. And then we tell you if you're in the wrong or not. So we have 3 different segments. It's a fun, grand old time. We'll explain each of the segments before them. But what you really have to remember is it's not just about us. It is about us, but it's not just about us. Because we also want to hear your thoughts. So we want to hear who you think was wrong in every segment that we have. And to do that, we post the votes over on our Instagram story, and then you can vote on them, send us messages, like why you voted the way you did. Maybe you're the person, like from the segment, you're the writer. You write in, you give us more details, more updates, like whatever. And then we read all of that as well as the results on our Friday episode, which is called lovingly Fisting Friday. Exactly. It's just a loving little fist. So keep your eyes open, your ears open. You know what I think of is the tiny hand sketch. It's that kind of fist. Like we're not trying to like
That's not even a finger, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends. Like, we're starting, if they're brand new, we're starting out slow. We're not about to like rip was it perineum, episiotomy, encyclopedia, whatever that fucking word is. We're not trying to do that. We're working our way up to that Thanos glove. I don't know if we've ever told people this, but like one of our dreams, and like, let's just manifest into the space. We like had tried to do it, but it's actually very hard. We wanted to come out with like vibrators, like sex toys. This was like years and years and years ago. And we were doing some market research, and the way that we found these Marvel vibrators, and then some that didn't vibrate, they were just dildos. Y'all, there is a Thanos glove that would split me in half.
Not just Thanos, but Hulk too.
So that one I got a soft spot for Hulk. So like maybe I'd let
because he looks like your fiance.
Yeah, except Mark Ruffalo's a little more petite, but I love that man. So, but the Thanos glove, because I can't help but think of it on Thanos's giant, meaty, purple tree trunk of an arm. Terrifying.
There was also Thor's hammer was one of them too.
And we talked so long about the actual shape of that and like what's the goal and what's like it was the angle, the way I remember, I think you sent me the first one and I was in like the
we were together when it was happening.
No, it was when someone must have said we opened something in the Whole Foods parking lot. And I just remember almost dropping my phone and then us both doing the same, like turning our head at the same time, trying to be like, so where does it, how does it work like this? Basically, the question we had was, you're asking Google, is can you do like, how custom can you get with these things? And it turns out incredibly custom. Yeah. And then it was too much and overwhelming. And then we said, well, we'll come back to this at a later date.
There was also Spider-Man with his little twip fingers, but I'm just like, he is a child.
Yeah, it was like shocker. And it was like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. Like, so.
Can we call him Spider-Boy, please? I know he becomes a man eventually, but as he exists right now in the MCU, he is a child.
He's a literal high schooler.
Yes. So can we just call him Spider-Boy so there's no confusion?
And isn't the Spider-Boy from the cartoon Miles Morales, is that who his name is? Or is that the other character's
also
name?
Spider-Man.
No, I was going to say, but isn't he like also freshman high school? Like, isn't he like a young iteration? Yeah.
Yes. But in that universe, Spider-Man is a grown man. Like, Peter Parker Spider-Man is grown.
I need to watch that.
I'll
love it. I know I'll love it.
Yes, you will.
I'm in an animated movie, like, kick. I haven't done it yet, but I want to watch them.
I will say the second one that came out feels like 2 years ago now at this point. I don't know if I think it was 2 years ago, at least a year ago. The way that that second one ends is like, where's the rest of the movie? They split it into two and it has not come out yet. So I would wait until the new one comes out and then watch them. Yes.
You know me, because I will actually take a boycott.
Literally everybody in the theater just like, it just got quiet and everybody was looking around like, did they accidentally cut the movie off?
The way I would scream, I'd flip a table over.
Yeah. Like, and then it said coming, I think it said next year.
Shut the.
Or to be continued or something like that.
Movies do not need cliffhangers.
No.
Like, stop. Or give me a cliffhanger and a bathroom break, a little intermission, and I'll pop back into my seat. But don't tell me to wait 2 years. No, I'm so mad I'm not seeing this again.
Right. But it was so good. You want to see it again, but it's just like,
yeah, no, I'll wait until that part's
blue balls. Blue clip. Yeah.
Come on, can't leave my clip blue. You're teasing me. As we say, we need to start calling him a man because talking about a child. Anyways, well.
What is the show? Well, we already said that.
I think I said that. So our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we pitch a hot take, a lukewarm take, a rant, or something going on in our lives that we ask the other person, are we wrong? And we also ask all of you if we're wrong. So it can be any of those things. And today I have what I would say is a lukewarm take initially, I thought, but as I keep deep diving over my course of like my latest hyperfixation has been like reading things about this, turns out I guess it might be a hot take. And that is having a nanny is a luxury. And we know, or maybe if you're new here, I have ended up, because I love reading like Am I the Asshole subreddits. I also really love reading Am I the Angel, where people just like make pretend Am I the Asshole pose of being like, I'm like a really great person. I like saved a dog from like a burning building, but someone was like, oh no, like your shirt got burned. Like, am I that person? Like and I'm like hilarious. Love those. And Reddit was like, we hear you love gossip. Have you ever thought about joining a subreddit about the profession, the nanny? And I was like, no. The profession, nannying. And the things I have
not to be
seen,
confused with the professional nanny, Fran Drescher.
That's the subreddit Melissa frequents. And I have just been like reading things over time, and it's crazy. Like, you have posts from parents, prospective parents. You also have posts from like professional career nannies and all of that. And I, knew that this was like, okay, this is a lot. But the thing about that subreddit is like, it's run, or heavily, most of the users who are posting on it are nannies. So they're like, okay, here are the things like I can rattle off, like guaranteed hours, like, sick pay, can't do overtime. You have to do overtime time and a half. Like you can't be a yearly employee. Like you can't be salaried. I know all of these things, and they have their like standards. And so when people start posting and like about job listings or advice, rightfully, parents who are trying to like take advantage don't get through the cracks a lot. Then my phone, because it listens to me. Hello, little phone. Thank you for listening. It was like, let me serve you some stuff on TikTok. And it is a girl who is like, she's a nanny, but she also like coaches and helps other nannies, like whether it's like helping them write contracts or write emails. And seeing some of the messages that these parents are requesting of saying, so this is like a job listing. They'll advertise it being $30 an hour. And then they'll do the interview, and it's like, actually, it's live-in. You'll pay $200 rent, and that's your pay. It's just discounted rent. And you'll work 24 hours a day, blah, 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 blah. And then when people respond and they're like, oh, no, not interested in this. And it's like, well, what do you expect me to do? Having a nanny is a luxury, but the idea that also people should just be blessed to spend time with your child, cool. The same way you have to make money, other people have to make money.
Right.
And I saw a TikTok yesterday of a stay-at-home mom who was talking about how much they pay their nanny, and someone commented on it and like all of like the things that she has. And she's like, we didn't get it right with our first nanny, and like, I will totally own up to it. Like, I'm always trying to do better. I don't know if we're doing like the best, but like, we want to show her that we appreciate her. And someone commented like, this can't be right. You're paying her like over $70,000 a year. Like, that's insane. And she responded like, well, she needs to make a living wage. And that person replied back, again, a fully grown adult, was like, well, what am I'm giving away my entire paycheck. And I'm like, to someone else's paycheck? Like, this idea that having a child and bringing a child into the world is like the most like important and like beautiful thing, and the thing that you value above everything else. But then you're like, I want to have someone who is going to watch my kid for 12 hours a day for $2.50 an hour. And that's going to be the safe bet. And I'm like, I totally understand that daycare is so fucking expensive in places. Like, there's someone who, again, saw another video of a girl is pregnant, has a baby's like 9 months old or something like that. She got on waitlist for daycare when she was like 6 weeks pregnant. Kids not gonna get them until she's there too. Like, people go in for like first positive pregnancy test, applying for it. So I totally understand that. But the idea that like there's a profession in which they take care of your child, but they shouldn't be served a living wage is nasty. And it's a luxury. And I'm like irate for people. Like, I want to like fight for like, I want to be a nanny lawyer. I'm like, want to yell at all these parents.
When I was a young chap, 3rd grade, we got a nanny because by the time all three of us were in daycare, it was more for us to be in daycare than what my parents' mortgage was. And so they were like, we will still pay the same amount of money, but like, it's better if they have like somebody that's caring for them. Yeah. And so I was spying when they were doing the interviews. And so I would just sit at a part of the steps and I was listening. And my parents were like telling them how much they were going to pay. And then I think it was a nanny agency. And they were like, oh, so you want them to live in and that's the salary. And my parents were like, no, they're only going to be here from when we leave for work to when we get back. So like 9 to 6, like they don't need to stay here. We're going to pay like this amount of money. And then it was like the nanny agent had never heard of anybody doing that before. And that was back in the 90s.
Yeah. And like, even with traveling, like people were commenting on this, like women's post being like, so, cause she like mentioned that their nanny travels with them. And it's like, wait, you pay your nanny when you travel? Is traveling not the pay, like the perk? And she was like, do you get paid when you go on a business trip, or are you just going on the business trip and that's getting on the plane is the fun part? And like, that's in the payment. It kills me. And especially like seeing so many people who are doing it not because like they're totally strapped in a really like tough spot, but doing it because they don't value the work. Yeah. And to me, I'm like, and especially when like women are doing that, I'm like, what like a weird internalized misogyny is this, that like you don't value someone taking care of your children because you're going back to work, which is totally fucking fine. Yes. But like, you don't value someone taking care of your kids because you also don't put value in that for yourself. So therefore, then the person who does it, someone has to do it. They derive like personal gratification. It's the job they want to have, whatever. You still don't want to pay that. And it's just sick. Like horrible, horrible, horrible. And I hate it. Yeah. I did also dive into, because I saw someone like posted on like the subreddit about like how many times do people apply for this thing called like adventure nannies? Like how many times did you apply before you like got in? And I like looked at it and they have like the job listings are public. It's all like private who the people are and like all of that kind of stuff. And to me, it is giving like working on a cruise, like working on a yacht. Like you can't do it forever. You can't do it when you have your own like mortgage to pay and you've got all that. But like, I think back to like, damn, I was like 20, 21. Like if I like was just fresh out of college or like had dropped out of college and was trying to figure out what to do, moving to Menlo Park to a family who's going to be paying me $150,000 a year, not including bonuses and all of that. And we split our time with like Aspen, but then you're working like 24 hours a day. Like you're working so much, but you're being paid overtime for all of that. Like you're doing all of that. I'm like, shit, that's fucking impressive.
Yep.
So yeah. And I just want to give shout out to all the nannies, babysitters, and also shout out to any caretakers who are taking care of kids. Like that shit is work and you should be paid.
Yep. Agree. All right. Time for mine. Mine is stop trying to rely on Black women to either save the world or be your scapegoat, especially when you're making misleading comments that could potentially lead to harming it. So after Trump was convicted, this white man posted a photo of members of the Manhattan court. And in the photos, there were 3 Black women who are part of the appellate court justice. And it said, do you think Trump has a chance in the Manhattan appeals court? So this photo, they were basically saying that these women's minds are already made up because they just exist and they're Black and they're women, as if like if there was just a photo of all white men, would you have that same kind of bias towards them? And also the whole appellate division of the First Judicial Department has 21 justices. Only 5 of them are Black women. And from that court, randomly, there are 5 justices that are selected at chance. So the chances of all 5 of those women being part of his appeals process is like slim to none. It made me furious when I first saw it. And this post is circulating, not just like, it's circulating in 2 different ways. Some people are like celebrating it, and then some people are saying that it's a bad thing. And this unfairly is putting a target on these women's backs because we know that his supporters are unhinged as fuck. So like before reposting things, please educate yourself on what you're actually reposting. And I wanted to thank the luncheon lawyer for breaking down why all this was wrong.
Yeah. Is the original, do you know who the original one was?
I saw it posted so many times. I don't know who did the first
looking at
one.
it right now, and you're right. Like some of the people are posting it. The captions are relatively the same, but like they're Democrats or like progressive, and then not like I don't even know who's I don't even know who their messaging.
The
is
first person
same.
I saw posted was some white man, but I don't know if they were the original poster of it.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing a lot of them is like pretty much the same engagement and like the same captions, but totally different affiliation or intention.
Yep.
I wonder where they even got the photo.
I think it was like announced because I think it's the most Black women that have been on it, and then somebody just like found that.
You said
photo.
It's out of 20. There's 20.
There's 21, and
that's like it's a fraction.
Yep.
You are not wrong at all.
So,
did you see Trixie Mattel DJs now? But did like the beat drop was like Donald Trump is a felon, and then the beat drops, and I was like, love that, Trixie, love that.
I was watching just as I watched the video after because, like I said, we were recording of just like the votes rolling in on MSNBC, and they were just like the glee. That was one thing I like for my news to be unbiased, but sometimes I'd want to watch MSNBC because they are so like in the left pocket that they do not hide their glee, and they are all just giddy as the
verdict.
Yes, the verdicts were rolling in on each count, and I was just like, this is funny.
I need both. I can't have entirely unbiased. Like I need to be able to opt in to my biased news.
Yeah. I feel like CNN is like the opt-in. It's like they say they're unbiased, but they're more left-leaning. And then MSNBC is just like, we're just left, period.
Yeah. When something like that happens, I just go to my phone and I type in Trevor Noah. And I'm like, what are you going to say?
It's not him anymore, though.
I know.
John is still cool.
Oh, yeah. I like Jon Stewart. He's also like very funny.
Mm-hmm. The first time I saw him was on The Nanny.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was right when The Daily Show had started, or like it was a newer show, and he came on, and I didn't know who he was because like I wasn't watching The Daily Show, and he had all dark hair, but there was like it was one of her many boyfriends that she had on the show.
Good for Fran.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
And we are back. It is time for But Are You Wrong? And this is where we read your submissions, the situations that you have found yourself in, where you want to know if you were the hero or the villain. And it's up to us to tell you. So you can send them over to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep them under 300 words. Please let us know your age. You can let us know your pronouns if you would like. But just know that the whole thing is anonymous. So come up with some fake names. You don't have to create a theme with them. But if you do create a theme, make sure you're thinking it through and it is intentional. Because otherwise we will read into it and think it means something else. I'm so excited about these. First up. Hi, Eminem, longtime listener, first-time writer. I need to know if my fiance and I are wrong in this situation. Backstory. My cousin, 28, the same age as me, and his fiance got engaged about 8 months prior to me and my fiance. They set a wedding date for September of this year and a few months after they got engaged. When me and my fiance got engaged, we chose a wedding date 2 months after theirs in November. Purposefully chose a date after theirs, and we will have been engaged for 13 months by our wedding. Recently, I've learned my cousin's fiance is furious with us as she thinks we are, quote unquote, taking away from their wedding. Our weddings are going to be completely different, including them having a smaller guest list and us having a larger one due to the size of our families. Our shared relatives have already committed to attending both weddings. My cousin and his fiance have talked nonstop shit about us to multiple people in my family. My family agrees that we shouldn't have to put our lives on hold for another year because of their wedding, but the guilt is starting to get to me. Am I wrong for having a wedding the same year as them?
What are you guilty for?
I mean, I think like 2 months is, I think it's like totally fine. I guess like, how close are you and your cousin? Like, you must.
Do they feel like you're upstaging them? Because they're like the opening act?
And then they're going to be like, because like people are not going to be like, well, I'm not going to party hard at this wedding because in 2 months I got another wedding. I want to really let my hair down. No one's going to do that. Like it's far and it's not like, oh, I can't be hungover because the other thing's the next day.
This is my problem with weddings. And I think this might be your problem too.
Melissa, I love everything about weddings. There's nothing about them I would change. I think they're so perfect and amazing.
You getting married is about you. It should not be about anyone else. What anybody else does on their wedding day is just like icing on the cake for you to enjoy, for other people to enjoy in your marriage. There is no showing off or like showing up other people because they are simply getting married in the same season. They're not even the same season. They're a fall wedding. I don't know when seasons change, but more fallish, more winterish.
Or late summer, September, late summer.
Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous. Do not feel guilty about this. They will get over it. Because if they're truly happy in their own marital bliss, what you do is not their problem.
Yeah. Nobody cares about your wedding as much as you do. Like, and I don't even mean that like you care a little more than everybody else. No, I promise you care so much. People don't care. Like, it's just like,
it's so many people's weddings. And I'm like, I'm here to be a witness for you and enjoy your day. But like, nothing's going to change in my life because of this wedding.
No. And like the idea that like, if you, like you said, like it's supposed to be about you getting married. Like that's supposed to be the end goal. And if someone else having a wedding 2 months after that ruins it, maybe you picked the wrong person to marry. Like that seems pretty fucking shaky to me. So you're not wrong at all. I think like if you're talking about like, if she says like, oh yeah, we're just like doing it like kind of small. And you're like, oh yeah, we're actually getting the plaza. So it'll feel intimate, but it won't be small. Like, unless you're doing that, there's literally like nothing else. Like, when would be enough? Like, when would be enough that like enough time where they're like, okay, yeah, that's actually fine. Also, I think it's when people have such a huge like ordeal about this, I'm like, you do know that the universe is about to like deliver you a January 6th that happens on your wedding. Like, something's gonna happen. Like, you can't to like claim a day to be like, this is all about me. Like, this whole time needs to be about me. Something's gonna, Pete Davidson gets a new girlfriend. I don't know. Something in pop culture where it becomes like a day or whatever that it will be. It's never just gonna be about you. And so like to try and do that so hard, to me, I'm like, you're tempting the universe to just deliver you an insurrection on the date of your wedding. Not at your wedding, but you know,
it overshadows.
Yeah. So you're not wrong at all.
All right, next one.
I cannot wait for this one.
Dear Eminem, I am compelled to write in for But Am I Wrong because I got an Insta DM that I never expected to get. I am 27 and there is one person that is always recommended to me on Instagram, Tara, that I do not follow nor have I followed before. We went to the same high school but in different friend groups and maybe shared only a couple of classes. We also went to the same university in different majors and worked at the same place on campus but different departments. So I know of Tara, but not personally at all. From my outside perspective, she was always one of the cool girls who had similar interests to me. And so when her profile is recommended, I will look at her public profile and occasionally watch her public stories. Does that make me a creep to passively interact with someone I don't know personally? I honestly didn't think much of it until I received a DM from her asking me straight out, why do you watch my Instagram stories? Now I'm truly worried if I have weirded her out. Am I wrong to have watched her Insta stories even though we don't know each other? She also added that she's just curious, not judgmental, and honestly doesn't understand it. If you have any advice on how to respond to her, I'd appreciate it. I feel so embarrassed, and right now I'm leaning towards deleting Instagram forever. I love the pod and have been listening since the beginning. Y'all are the best.
This is crazy. I'm obsessed with how crazy this is.
I don't think you're a creep because I do this. But I don't do it from my account. I do it from my Finsta account.
Yeah. Like, I say this with so much love. Someone steered you in the wrong direction because like, this is totally normal. You just missed an incredibly crucial step. Or the alternative is I will watch someone's public story who I don't follow because I want them to know that I watched it.
Yes.
So like, I don't know what got lost in communication there for you. And I just have to say, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like we've steered you. Like, this is wild. Like, this is wild.
I would be... Don't delete your Instagram. I understand the embarrassment. I would just mute her so then she can't see your Instagram anymore. But don't block her because then that gives her more power in the situation. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I would be mortified. Mortified. Oh my gosh.
I would follow her. That's what I would do. I would like follow her and just be like, oh,
yeah, at this
like
point,
always like you know, always ran in like similar circles. Like your profile got suggested, like totally thought I had followed you, like didn't realize I didn't. Like, hope you're well.
How many followers does she have? Like 200 people for her even to like notice that?
Yeah, and like I guess my question is like, how would you have identified yourself in high school? So like, does she know you from like? That
they
like
have so much crossover,
but like the way that you described, like she was a cool girl who had similar interests to you. I think if in the movie version, like she has no idea who you are and you're a total creep. But I think in like the real life version, if you notice you have a lot of the same interests, she might also notice you have similar interests. And so like, A, maybe it's flirting, but also B, it could just be like, this could be the start of a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you need to play it cool.
Yeah. To
validate your feelings though, like I would actually have to delete my Instagram for bare minimum a week and go into a room with all of the blinds closed. And it would be so dark. And then I would just scream into a pillow. And then I would do everything. I would learn how to lucid dream so I could just forget this ever happened.
You can't though. Yeah, I think I would just like say that you show up but the thing is, the more that you interact with somebody's profile, like watching their stories, the more they're going to show up. So that's why she's always showing up for you.
Yeah.
Also, and the thing is, like, Instagram sorts it, like your followers, people that follow you are the top people that you see that looked at your stories. And then it's like people that don't follow you under that. And so like I need to know how many people follow her.
I also need to know, how cool is she? Because unless she's flirting, calling someone out, being like, why do you watch my Instagram stories? It's not cool girl behavior.
She says she's just curious. Maybe she just has a curious mind.
Keep being curious, keep asking questions. If it also makes you feel a little bit better, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but someone had posted on, might have been in the pop culture subreddit, or it could have been in like a Dumois one or something in that kind of vein. But it was someone who had said like, this like celebrity had watched her Instagram story that like they're not tagged in, and people are all being like, oh my God, yeah, no, this celebrity one time watched one of mine, or like, yeah, this celebrity randomly follows me, like this famous person, like it was definitely on accident, but like whatever. So just know that like there are like legitimate stars who have like accidentally watched random people's Instagram stories and they just never say anything again.
Yeah.
So it's not just you.
Nicola Coughlan was loving things and liking them and saving
no
stuff.
Stuff was public.
And she didn't know that people could see that she was doing all that. So it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I think the part that makes this hard is that this wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
But we were just missing a crucial step in the lurking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you were being a creep, but
you're not alone.
There's a creep in all of us. You need to creep carefully. Mm-hmm. Let us help you.
Right.
Get a Finsta.
Meghan has one. I finally figured out how I could log out of it without being logged into.
Oh, good.
Because it was connected to the Instagrams, but I think they changed something in the settings where I could log out. But I have my own Finsta. Meghan has her own Finsta.
Melissa and I used to share one, so then I would be like, who's this person we're stalking? And then she'd be like, who's this person we're stalking? I'm like, great, love it. And anytime I do anything embarrassing, I like to remind myself something I think is one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to anyone ever. And that is that Nick Viall from The Bachelor, his girlfriend at the time, now wife, for Nick's birthday, she copy and pasted like as a giant paragraph the last like 2 or 3 birthday wishes that Claudia, as in Claudia Salewski, said to her boyfriend Phineas. She just copied them word for word as her caption to Nick and just deleted comments and then also just ignored them and then never brought it up ever again. And it's still there. So if you ever feel embarrassed, just know that she did that. And I asked Claudia, and Claudia's like, so she's like, this is weird. And I was like, this is crazy. Crazy. So you haven't done that.
I also want to say on your Finstas, make sure you delete your phone number from it, because if somebody tries to log onto the account or they try to like see if they could get into your account, it shows the last couple digits of your phone number. So that can, if it's somebody you actually know, it can trace back to you.
Like in your contacts.
Yes. So delete your phone number. Also, do not use your email address. Make a fake email address.
The way I have so many fake Gmails.
Me too. And I like now that they, like, after a couple years, if you're not using them, they'll just delete them. And that's fine, because I need fresh ones anyway.
New fake ones. Mm-hmm. I've created entire personas. Like, these are entire people. I've given them stories. Like, back.
Me too.
Yeah.
There used to be this website where you could use, like, they would give you a temporary email address, and then it went away. But those were great too, because also you could see what other people were doing because the inbox for it was open. So you could make the email address, and then the inbox is like, you could just see what other people were up to and why they were using the email address.
That's funny.
Let's just be more stealth, please. More stealthy. All right. We're going to take a break.
Thoughts and prayers, like truly.
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go.
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to See You Next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back. It is time for our final segment, which is But Are They Wrong?, where we nominate a person, place, or thing in current events, pop culture zeitgeist that we think deserves to have a little bit of a... It can go from a tisk tisk to a tomato to a shame to throw them in jail to... If you're not watching, you don't know what that means. So I have one that I've been wanting to do for a while, but it's like so fucking heavy, and I'm like waiting for more things to come out about that. So we're not doing that today. We are doing something that pains me to say because I don't want to nominate this person. I really like this person. And if anyone is a diehard fan of this person, keep listening until the end. Okay? So I would like to nominate, unfortunately, Stefani, aka Lady Gaga.
Oh, she was on my list. I forgot, but go ahead. Yep.
So she was doing a Q&A, and let the record state, this was not a direct question. This was not an accusation. She was asked, is there anything you want to tell? Like anything, like basically being like, tell us something we don't know. Like tell us something about, because she's promoting her Chromatica Ball movie. And she basically being like, tell us, is there any little sneak peeks, like anything you can let us know? And she's live Q&A in front of an audience. And she turns and smiles and is like, I did... What was it? How many shows?
5, I think.
Yeah. I did 5 shows with COVID. And then the audience, I'm not going to say cheers. It is the most confusing audience reaction I've heard because some people are clapping and some people are clapping and then realizing it's catching up with what they heard. And it's so fucking weird. And then she immediately, and the host oh, and is doing it in oh my God, girl, you did that. That's basically it's being looked at to be, look how dedicated she is. Look how impressive this is. You would have had no idea. No one would have known if she didn't tell you. So she says that she shared it with everyone on her team and she didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable and said you don't have to work this day, but I'm going to do the show and I don't want to let the fans down because the fans are already putting themselves in harm's way every day. This is fucking crazy to me because the amount of people who've responded being went with a family member, they died, they got COVID, they died. She has deals with chronic illness. She has been super open about that and champions being forthcoming about that and sharing that in her other document, in 5'2", she talks about it and really advocates for that and has, assumed the role of a face of hidden disabilities and all of that. And to get up here and say that, I was just fucking shocked. And one of my friends was being oh my God, have you watched it yet? And I was I'm so fucking mad at her. And they were like, I think Live Nation. And I was like, with love? No, like Live Nation doesn't want her to say, like, no one wants her to say that. She can say that. Like, they're not holding it above her head. And I was like, and this is what I'm saying for all the fans out there, because like, I've also think she's incredibly talented. I don't think she's a terrible person. And this is not someone who I think is going to be like, oh, doubling, like all of that. I'm hoping. And sometimes she's going to go, that was like really reckless and really stupid of me. But like the idea that she has no idea what she's done or whatever that is just mind blowing to me. Like, it's just truly at the end of the day, so I think out of touch to the point where like you're so far disconnected from the fact that like, it's not that people have saved up money to go to your show. Millions of people have died. Like, this is something that is like and then so many more people have been permanently disabled from this. Like, to think of it as like a proud feat of what you did, you have to be so far disconnected from, again, the disabled community, which is something you've been so heavily a part of. To me, I'm like, okay, this needs to be a reality check. Like, I got to get out of like, not to call it Holly weird. I got to get out of this fucking bubble and like recognize that I'm going to say this, and then in a group of people. And she like goes into the audience and like all of this stuff. And like, it just made me irate because I do not agree. Like, sure, yeah, people make calculated decisions based on the risk assessment that they have. But when you are knowingly withholding a factor that drastically changes that is malicious. Like, just point blank, I think that's like malicious and fucked up. So I don't think it matters whether someone does it for money or whatever, but like, you can disappoint fans for the sake of their own health as well as yours. And yeah, I hope this changes for her. Like, this is just like, I just can't imagine. Like, she's like faces of like different like chronic illness like foundations and shit. I'm like, no one's gonna do this with you again. You cannot do that.
I'm gonna disagree with you in saying that she's not a bad person, because I think she is.
I like her music. I don't know much about her history.
I do like her music, but like, she's a super spreader. She not only was she like at the event, she's singing the whole time. Her breath, her spit is going everywhere. She's around the fans. She's probably touching their hands and things. She's also around her other singers and dancers and stuff. So it's not just her. Every person that has then breathed her air around her is also spreading it to wherever they are. And then it matriculates throughout the stadium. So I don't think this one time, maybe, but doing it 5 times is reckless.
No, I agree. I don't think she's going to double down and say like, this is not a big deal. COVID is not I think she will, I believe her apology, but I don't think she would double down publicly being like, this was not a bad thing that I did. Maybe she wouldn't believe it, but like the other thing that I'm like, to say that when you are leading this, one of the biggest tours, I think it was I think it was the biggest tour at the time, because it was during Renaissance and pre eras. Biggest tour at the time. People are in precarious financial situations, specifically the arts, and like people can say like, okay, they're not going to work, and like they're going to like they can't do that, but then are they still going to be getting paid for those shows? Like, are you taking a quarantine period? Do people feel like they actually can turn you down to do that? And then also, you let everyone know except for the fans. So if it wasn't a big deal and like it was a calculated risk that they assumed that they could have been fine with, you would have said it. If you believed it, you would have said it at the time, like 10 toes down. So like the fact that this is months later and we're saying this as like a win, you knew at the time it was not cool because you didn't tell people. So now you're fine. Like, the fuck? So yeah, I think probably a lot of me wanting her to to not stand by it or to like apologize. And like, I obviously want everyone to learn from everything, but like, it's even more frustrating to watch someone who's been a part of like the disabled community, the chronic illness community do this, because it then becomes like people going like, oh no, this person, they're and they're fine with it. And so then it becomes like a cool. So someone who is a part of the community who is at super high risk for this, then you become the spokesperson for the people who don't want to take precautions. And then you are the disabled person they know. You are the sick person they know who says it's fine. Like, your word means a lot, and you have a responsibility, especially when like you're getting paid from like, she's like the face of like a migraine like company that she got fibromyalgia, all of these things. And I'm like, that, like, what a colossal fucking disappointment. And yeah, I hope that nobody does it. And I was pleasantly surprised to see like no support in the comment. Like, people were just like completely floored. But I don't see it being reported pretty much anywhere.
Yep. I was so mad.
Yeah, me too. I was like just disappointed. Like, so not who I would have expected to do that. Like, performative. She like wear a mask to the VMAs and like all that. I'm like, oh my, that doesn't fucking matter at this point then.
Yep. All right. Mine is something that's from your hometown area.
Oh God. Okay. I have so many guesses.
So the Riverside County Sheriff, Chad Bianco. No. He made a video on Instagram that he posted in his car. And it said, well, he was wearing his uniform and badge and everything. And he said, I think it's time we put a felon in the White House. And so during this video, he spoke about how frustrated he was with our governor and the attorney general and what he called their leniency on criminals and lack of support of law enforcement, where I'm just like, did you not just hear what you just said? Leniency on criminals, but you want to, in your words, I think it's time to put a felon in the White House. He's been very critical of Governor Newsom in recent years for slashing his corrections budget and letting prisoners out early and closing prisons. He's also called that the state legislator alleging that lawmakers passed laws to make it harder to put people in prison. But again, you just said, I think it's time we put a felon in the White House. He said, I've been critical of our attorney general for seemingly not caring about crime and really being an embarrassment to law enforcement. And so over the last 30 years, he's been arresting criminals and putting them in jail, keeping them out of neighborhoods and keeping the community safe. I gotta be honest, I'm getting tired. I think we need to go big. You know me, go big or go home. And so he's such a staunch Trump supporter, but he wants to be hard on criminals. Make it make sense.
He can't.
They're just so unhinged.
What's his position again?
The sheriff
of Riverside?
The county of Riverside, yes.
Another fun fact, because I was like, I'm pretty sure something else has happened with that recently. About a month ago, this is from LA Times, culminating a year-long investigation dubbed quote-unquote Hotline Bling. Authorities in Riverside have seized millions of dollars worth of illegal drugs and arrested 15 people suspected of helping a Mexican drug cartel trafficking network, including a Riverside County sheriff's deputy. Not the same man, but like, you know, it is unfortunate how lenient going on criminals, as in your coworker who just got busted for trafficking like fucking pounds of drugs. Okay. Yeah, that would be frustrating too. Maybe report it to HR. Like, I just am like, it's also because they like don't believe that if you want to put a felon in the White House, okay, why can't I think of any other felons, like famous felons who like are just Philly felons
that you like want there? Or
no, but then I'm saying that like it's so. I'm so sorry. I just Googled famous felons and it said Danny Trejo and Robert Downey Jr. Google, we need some help. That's not what this means. Jack the Ripper, Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, like those kinds of what's the criteria of felon? Should we break it down into like smaller? It's like, I only want felons who have you heard the whole thing that he constantly smells like shit? And people are like, he like shits his pants all the time. One that constantly smells like a poopy poop with a terrible spray tan, a yellow toupee, a thick neck, and who looks like he and Mitch McConnell, if you put them in the desert, they'd melt faster than an ice cream cone. Like, you got to get more specific about which felon.
Yeah. And then he was brought on to KCAL News, and they were trying to like make sense of what he was saying, and he just kind of doubled down on it and was like, it was almost like that was just my way of showing how crazy that argument is, that we have to disregard real crime, murders, rapists, gangs, drugs, all of those things. And we just need to make sure that he's a felon and we lock him up forever and we can't vote for him. I mean, it's psychological warfare right now. What? So he's saying he's not a real felon, but we are so lenient on the real felons, but like the fake felons, they can still be president.
Cool. I would love to hear how he describes like the felony of rape and how that is, and Donald Trump is not involved in that whatsoever. And then also what's actually considered felony rape, and then what's actually tried and tested as felony rape. And then I'd also love to know what he thinks about when women make accusations against men. Like, he wanted to go viral, and he did.
Yep.
He never said he was smart, and neither did we. Man's a fucking idiot. He said he's getting tired. It sounds like he's getting tired. He should
retire.
Retire. Go to sleep. Go to fucking sleep.
Well, that's the end of the episode.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed. Let me see if I have any other fun little thing to end on for you. Oh, I don't even really need to like click through the article. But Flava Flav orders entire Red Lobster menu in effort to save company. I do wonder if he's trying to save the Red Lobster company as a whole or that specific franchise location.
Well, know, they went bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy. So it's probably as a whole.
Flava Flav, buy it. Please buy it.
He also, what was the team? Some Olympic team that they needed money, and it's a women's team. I can't remember.
Wait, he says, your boy meant it when I said I was going to do anything and everything to help Red Lobster and save the Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Yeah.
I love him.
He sponsored the U.S. women's water polo team for Paris because they didn't have enough money. And I'm like, why? How do they not have enough money? But he sponsored them.
He is one of my favorite underrated celebrities.
Yeah.
Also, he holds a very soft spot in my heart because he was reality TV for me. Like, so fantastic. But he says he's scheduled to have a talk with Red Lobster is open to potential collaboration in the near future. Do it.
They can say them.
Yeah. The entire U.S. the U.S. women's?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. For the Paris Games, he is sponsoring them.
That, of all sports, I mean, it's always fucking crazy. But like, to me, water polo is akin to soccer. I don't need to watch men play because the women dominate. And I grew up in a water polo swim town. So you'd watch those girls, you'd watch that water turn pink. You'd watch them grow their toenails out, scratch till they bleed. And then you'd see the boys be like, oh, foul. He kicked me. He's got water in my eye. And the girls are bleeding, trying to drown each other. And like, refs would be like, are you good? And they're like, no, I'm fine. Nothing's happened. Yeah. Oh my God. That's devastating and insulting.
Yep. So good on him. He said, it was one of the Olympians, the captain, she had posted something and said, many of my teammates aren't just champions, but also teachers, business owners, coaches, physicians, assistants, and more. Some may not know this, but most Olympians need second or third jobs to support chasing the dream, including myself. And most teams rely on sponsors for travel, accommodations, nutritional support, rent, lodging, and simply affording to live in this day and age. And so he saw the post and reached out to them and said, I got daughters and I know what it feels like to be competitive, but yet not recognized for what you do. Women's water polo is not really a big popular sport like basketball or football, but I would love to see the sport grow because I love watching it being played. That's why I stepped in and decided to help these girls out. It's all about giving back.
He's like historically been just awesome. Like, and he does stuff like all the time. And I know that like Swifties are like discovering him because he like goes to Taylor Swift concert and he like buys merch on like Etsy. Like he like doesn't even buy, like it's just, he's what like the media wanted us to think DJ Khaled was, of just like, look at this happy, look, wonderful, great vibes. And I'm like, DJ Khaled, the man who's not even done pussy? Okay, cool. No.
Yeah.
So like, I love him, and that makes me happy. Oh, and finally, Jason Kelce went on his podcast and said that, or he tweeted and then talked about his podcast, that they've been lied to by Big Soap and you really only need to wash your hot spots. And he says he's never washed his legs or his feet in his life. And this man just retired from playing football. Good God, Kylie Kelce, I hope you sleep in a different bed because that man has fungus on his feet. I wash every time I shower, wash my legs, wash my feet, between the toes, behind my ear, like every crevice. You feel slimy if you don't fucking scrub your body. And he was playing professional sports with other people's body. Ugh!
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's time to take their mics.
No, it's well overdue. I don't think we should, as women, we're subjected to so much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I should be subjected to a man. He picked up Quinta, remember?
I know.
Immediately I was like, how could you do that to her?
Yeah. Now it's down to Joey and
Frankie.
And then those 2 British men, the black ones.
Yep.
That's it.
The end. You guys have lost your fucking privileges. And you never had them. We didn't give them to you. You took them as you do.
Yep.
But citizen's arrest. Put your hands up. Jail.
All right. That's the end for real now.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed. Leave us a review if you would like on the podcast app, or you can leave an individual review for the episode over on Spotify. As always, you can write in for the But Are You Wrong segment, and we will rule with our iron gavel. And you can also vote for this week's episode. And then tomorrow, stay tuned and listen to the results from last week's episode.
Hell yeah.
And we will circle back.
Circle back. Goodbye.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Subscribe to the Ghost Story Guys now on your favorite podcatcher to hear episodes like High Strangeness in Chicago, The Mystery of Missing Time, and The Haunting of Vietnam, along with dozens of others.
We've talked about mythical bridges, doppelgangers, haunted seaside towns, and so much more.
Remember that story about the guy who was trapped inside a dream and something was hunting him? That was upsetting.
Yes it was.
Want us to help ruin your sleep? Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.